Good morning everyone. In our previous video we have done summary and critical appreciation of Act 1 Scene 2, and in today's video we'll be doing lines 1 till 60. So by the end of this video you will be able to learn the explanation of lines 1 till 60, learn the references and literary devices used in the lines 1 till 60. Let us read out the lines from 1 till 13. Enter Prospero and Miranda. Miranda: if by your art, my dearest father, you have put the wild waters in the roar, allay them. The sky, it seems, would pour down stinking pitch, but that the sea, mounting to the welkin's cheek, dashes the fire out. Oh, I have suffered with those that I saw suffer, a brave vessel who had, no doubt, some noble creature in her, dashed all to pieces. Oh, the cry did knock against my very heart. Poor souls, they perished. Had I been any god of power, I would have sunk the sea within the earth or air. It should the good ship so have swallowed, and the frothing souls within her. Let us discuss the word meanings, references and literary devices used in lines 1 till 13. Art. Art means magic art. In this roar, it means in this noisy turmoil. Allay. Allay means subdue. Would pour down stinking pitch. Children, here a metaphor has been used. Rain has been compared to pitch. Now what is pitch? Pitch is melted tar, which has a very strong smell. The blackness of the sky gives the idea to Miranda that it is about to send down showers of molten tar. That means it is going to rain the molten tar. The sky till fire out. It seems that the sky is pitch black with storm clouds, with a streak of lightning, that is the fire, running through the clouds from time to time. Just as pitch boils in a cauldron over a fire, the pitch black clouds up in the sky melt under the flames of lightning. Just as boiling pitch falls upon the ground below, the pitch black clouds melted by flames of lightning are about to pour down a deluge of rain. Deluge of rain is heavy rainfall. As black and foul as pitch. Again, pitch is the molten tar. The sky would have poured forth boiling pitch, that is a deluge of hot black rain, upon the earth below. But for the stormy sea, the waves of which rose so high that they reached the lightning-riven clouds and dashed out the fire. Let us first of all see what is a cauldron. So you can see it is a huge pot. It is called cauldron. Now let us discuss the lines along with the explanation. Enter Prospero and Miranda. That is Prospero and Miranda enter. Miranda: if by your art, my dearest father, you have put the wild waters in this roar, allay them. The sky, it seems, would pour down stinking pitch, but that the sea, mounting to the welkin's cheek, dashes the fire out. Now children, the scene is set on the island before Prospero's cell. In these lines, Miranda says to Prospero that if he by his magic art has raised the storm, please calm it down. She further says that the sky seems to threaten that it is going to pour stinking pitch, that is the tar. Now here the rain has been compared to pitch, that is a melted tar by using a metaphor. So the blackness of the sky gives idea to Miranda that it is going to shower molten tar. Now, just as pitch boils in the cauldron over fire, the pitch black clouds in the sky also melt under the flames of lightning. The sky would have poured this boiling pitch, though it had not poured, it would have poured the boiling pitch upon the earth below, but the waves of stormy sea rose so high that they reached the lightning-driven clouds and they extinguished the fire. Now she says that the sky would have poured pitch, but it did not. Why it did not pour? Because the stormy sea waves rose to the height of the clouds and they wiped out the fire, that is the lightning. This means the sea waves rose so high that they touched the face of the sky and they extinguished the fire. Now here children, you can see Welkin's cheek. Welkin's cheek is personification. Here the sky has been given the quality of human beings. The sky is possessing cheeks, right? So this is personification. Oh, I have suffered with those that I saw suffer. A brave vessel, who had no doubt some noble creature in her, dashed all to pieces. Oh, the cry did knock against my very heart. Poor souls, they perished. So she says, I have suffered with all those noble creatures who I saw in distress. I saw a fine vessel. Now children, what is a vessel? It is a ship which carried some noble creatures break into pieces. Their crying sounds made me feel sad, or my heart grieved when I heard the cries. Poor souls have died. Had I been any god of power, I would have sunk the sea within the earth or air. It should the good ship so have swallowed and the frothing souls within her. So here Miranda expresses her desire to control the fury of the storm, and she says, if I had been some powerful god, I would have sunk the sea within the earth before it could have swallowed the ship with all the passengers on board. Let us read the gist of the lines 1 till 13. Prospero and Miranda enter. Miranda requests to her father that if he has caused that terrible storm with his magic powers, he must put an end to it. She says that the sky is so dark, it looks like it would rain down boiling hot tar if the sea weren't swelling up to the sky to put its fire out. She says that she suffered along with all the men who she watched suffer. She is sure that a fine ship with some good people in it must have smashed to pieces. Their dying shouts broke her heart. She feels sorry that the poor people died. She further says that if she had been a god, she would have let the sea sink inside the earth before it had a chance to swallow up that ship and all the people it was carrying. Let us read out the lines 14 till 22. Prospero, be collected, no more amazement. Tell your piteous heart there's no harm done. Miranda, oh, woe the day. Prospero, no harm. I have done nothing but in care of thee, my dear one, thee, my daughter, who art ignorant of what thou art, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I am more better than Prospero, master of a full poor cell, and thy no greater father. Miranda, more to know, did never meddle with my thought. Let us read the word meanings from lines 14 till 22. Frothing souls, creatures making up the freight of the vessel. Collected, calm. Amazement, terror rather than pure amazement. Piteous heart, sympathetic heart. Here you can see, children, it is personification. Heart has been personified by the quality of being pitiful. Oh, woe the day means alas, but in care of thee, except for your good. Of whence I am, nor that I am more better. Now here a new figure of speech has been introduced. It is called anadiplosis. So what is anadiplosis, children? It is repetition of a prominent and usually the last word in one phrase or clause at the beginning of the next. So here it is, I am. Not means not. Not knowing, greater father. Here Prospero tells his daughter that she knows nothing of where he has come from. She also doesn't know that he is something more than Prospero and something more than simply her father who owns this wretched cell. More to know till thoughts. This means I have never troubled my thoughts to wish to find out any more than this. Now children, here again personification has been used. The thoughts are said to be meddled with. Let us discuss the explanation of the lines 14 till 22. Prospero, be collected. No more amazement. Tell your piteous heart there is no harm done. Miranda, oh, woe the day. So in these lines, children, Prospero tells Miranda to calm down. He tells her that there is no need to be bewildered. He further tells her to let her sympathetic heart know that no harm has been done to any person on the ship. Miranda says, alas, what a sad day. Prospero, no harm. I have done nothing but in care of thee, my dear one, thee, my daughter, who art ignorant of what thou art, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I am more better than Prospero, master of a poor cell, and thy no greater father. Miranda, more to know, did never meddle with my thoughts. Now children, here Prospero reveals to his daughter, that is Miranda, that she does not know anything of their past. She does not know their real identities. Prospero says that no injury has been done to anybody. In an assuring tone, he says, whatever I have done in your interest. My dear one, you, my dear daughter, you could not know who I am or who you are. You do not know where I have come from. You also do not know I am something more than Prospero, the honor of a poor cell, and more than your humble father. Miranda says that she never felt bothered to know anything more than that. Let us read the gist of the lines we have just done. Prospero tells Miranda to calm down. He assures her that there is nothing to get upset about, as no harm was done to anyone. Who are these anyone? They are those who are on board. Miranda feels that it was a horrible day. Prospero assures Miranda that there was no harm. He says that he has done everything for her, his dear daughter. Prospero now begins to unfold the mystery. He says that Miranda does not know what she is, since she does not know who Prospero is, or where he came from, or that he is better than merely Prospero, her humble father, who lives in a poor little shack. Miranda says that it never occurred to her to imagine there was anything more to know. Let us now read lines 23 till 34. Prospero, 'tis time I should inform thee farther. Lend thy hand and pluck my magic garment from me. Miranda helps Prospero remove his mantle. So lie there, my art. Wipe thou thine eyes. Have comfort. The direful spectacle of the rack while touched the very virtue of compassion in thee. I have with such provision in mine art, so safely ordered that there is no soul, no, not so much perdition as an hair bitted to any creature in the vessel, which thou heardest cry, which thou sawest sink. Sit down, for thou must know now more. Let us discuss the meanings. Lend thy hand, give me the help of your hand. Lie there, my art. Prospero's magic powers seem to be associated with his robe. Now, children, what is a robe? It is a long coat. When he puts off his robe, he lays aside his magic powers. Again, personification has been used. Magic art lies down. Direful, dreadful. Spectacle, sight. Compassion, the very essence of pity. I have with such till sawest sink. Prospero tells Miranda that he has arranged the matters in such a way that no harm has come to anybody. When the ship was sinking, she had heard the cries of people who were drowning, but in fact, no person has suffered the slightest injury, but not even the loss of a single hair. But it happened. So let us now discuss the lines from 23 till 34. Prospero, it is time I should inform thee farther. Lend me thy hand and pluck my magic garment from me. Miranda helps Prospero remove his mantle. So lie there, my art. Wipe thou thine eyes. Have comfort. So Prospero in these lines, children, tells Miranda that it is the time he should enlighten her. He says to Miranda to help him in removing his magic robe. So Miranda helps him to remove his magic robe. He then points out to the magic robe which is lying aside. He says, I discard my magic with this magic robe. He tells Miranda to wipe off her tears and be of good cheer. Now children, these lines, the lines we have just done, give us the key of the character of Miranda, in which tenderness is the keynote. The direful spectacle of the rack which touched the very virtue of compassion in thee, I have with such provision in mine art, so safely ordered that there is no soul, no, not so much perdition as an hair bitted to any creature in the vessel, which thou heardest cry, which thou sawest sink. Sit down, for thou must know further. So Prospero says to Miranda that the terrible scene of the shipwreck and the shrieks of the people from the ship, which has filled Miranda with sympathy, has been raised by him with his magic art, and he made sure that nobody in the ship was harmed. They didn't even suffer by the loss of a hair. He says to Miranda to sit down because she must know more now. Let us read the gist of the lines. Miranda helps Prospero remove his cloak. Prospero looks at the cloak and says that his magic lies there. He then tells Miranda to wipe her eyes and take comfort. He says that he arranged the horrible sight of this shipwreck which moved her to such pity, so carefully that not a single person was hurt. No, not so much as a hair on anyone's head was destroyed in the ship that she saw sink. He tells her to sit down as it was the time for her to know more. Both of them sit. Let us read the next lines, that is from 35 till 45. Miranda, you have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped and left me to a bootless inquisition, concluding, stay, not yet. Prospero, the hours now come. The very minute bids thee ope thine ear. Obey and be attentive. Canst thou remember a time before we came unto the cell? I do not think thou canst, for then thou wasn't not out 3 years old. Miranda. Certainly, sir, I can. Prospero. By what? By any other house or person? Of anything the image tell me that hath kept with thy remembrance. Let us read the word meanings of the lines 35 till 45. Bootless inquisition, useless self-questioning. So Prospero had awakened her curiosity and left her in a mood of vain speculation as to what he had been about to say when he stopped. Ours, the moment has open, cell, humble dwelling. Out 3 years old, fully 3 years old. By what till remembrance? By what can you remember? Is it by memory of any other house than this, or any other person than myself? Tell me about anything, the picture of which has remained within your recollection. Let us do the explanation of lines 35 till 45. Miranda, you have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped and left me to a bootless inquisition, concluding, stay, not yet. So in these lines, Miranda says that you have often started telling me about my past history and then stopped, awakening in me a curiosity, and you have ended it by saying that the time is yet not come. Prospero, the hours now come. The very minute bids thee ope thine ear, obey and be attentive. So Prospero then says that the time has come. He says to Miranda to open the eyes and ears and be all attention to him. Canst thou remember a time before we came unto the cell? I do not think thou canst, for then thou wasn't not out 3 years old. So he further asks Miranda that does she remember the days before they came to this place, to this island, and made this cell their abode, their residence. So he says, I am not sure that you can, as you were not even 3 years old at that time. Miranda, certainly, sir, I can. Miranda then, with reviving his curiosity, says that I seem to remember something. Prospero, by what? By any other house or person, or anything the image tell me hath kept with thy remembrance. So Prospero immediately asks her, by what? Does she remember anything connected with the past, or by the memory of any other house or any other person? He says, tell me if the picture of anything that you know still remains in your memory. Now let us read the gist of the lines. Miranda says that Prospero has often started to tell her who she was, but then suddenly stopped, leaving her asking questions that never got answered, telling her to wait as it was not the right time yet. Prospero tells her that the time has come. This is the moment for her to listen hard and pay close attention. He asks if she can remember the time before she came to live in that shack. He says that he doubts it, since she was even 3 at that time. Miranda says that she surely can remember. Prospero gets excited and asks her what she remembers, a house or a person. He tells her to tell anything she remembers. Let us read the lines 46 till 60. Miranda, 'tis far off, and rather like a dream than an assurance, that my remembrance warrants. Had I not 4 or 5 women once that tended me? Prospero, thou hadst, and more. Miranda, but how is it that this lives in thy mind? What seest thou else in the dark backward and abysm of time? If thou rememberest aught ere thou camest here, how thou camest here? Miranda, but that I do not. Prospero, 12 years since, Miranda, 12 years since. Thy father was the Duke of Milan and a prince of power. Miranda, Sir, are not you my father? Prospero, thy mother was a piece of virtue, and she said thou wast my daughter, and thy father was Duke of Milan, and thou his only heir, and princess no worse issued. Let us read the word meanings of the lines. It is far off, it is so long ago. Assurance, the assured memory of anything definite or fact. And rather like a dream than an assurance. It is a simile. Then my remembrance warrants, that my memory confirms. Tended, looked after. What seest thou till abysm of time? What else can you see in the obscure past and in the vast space of time? Backward is an adjective used as a noun signifying that time which is past and gone, abysm. Another form of abyss is usually a vast hole or gulf in the ground or a great empty space. It is here used as a figurative description of time, and it is a figure of speech called hendiadys, a figure of speech expressed by two nouns joined by and. Also, it is a metaphor. Abysm of time, bottomless depth of time. Ought, anything. How thou camest till mayest. Then perhaps you actually remember how you came here. Prince of power, powerful prince. Peace, a perfect specimen. Thy mother was no worse issued. Your mother was a woman of chastity, that is piousness, and I have no reason to doubt her assurance that you were my daughter. Your father was Duke of Milan, that is he himself, and you his only heir and his princess, of no lesser descent than that. Let us do the explanation of lines 46 till 60. Miranda, it is far off and rather like a dream than an assurance that my remembrance warrants. Had I not 4 or 5 women once that tended me? Now Miranda tries to recall from the dim or the shadowy past. She says, it is so long ago. It seems to be all a mist. It is like a dream rather than a fact. She asks, did she not have 4 or 5 women to attend upon her? Prospero, thou hadst and more, Miranda, but how is it that this lives in thy mind? What seest thou else in the dark backward and abysm of time? If thou rememberest aught ere thou camest here, how thou camest here thou mayest. Now Prospero confirms the truth of her impressiveness and her impressions, and he encourages her to go on. He says, you had even more than that, Miranda, but how is it possible that it is still in your memory? Can you remember anything else in the dim, shadowy past of your life? If you remember anything of your life before you came here, you may perhaps remember how we came here. Miranda, but that I do not. So Miranda says that she does not remember it. Prospero, 12 years since, Miranda, 12 years since, thy father was the Duke of Milan and a prince of power. Miranda, sir, are you not my father? So Prospero then resumes his narrative and says, it is 12 years since, Miranda, your father was the Duke of Milan. He was a mighty prince. When Miranda hears this, she startles with a surprise and says, sir, are you not then my father? Prospero, thy mother was a piece of virtue, and she said, thou wast my daughter, and thy father was Duke of Milan, and thou his only heir, and princess no worse issued. So Prospero says, your mother Miranda was a model of virtue, and she said that you were my daughter, and your father was the Duke of Milan, and his only heiress was a princess. That means Miranda was a princess. Let us discuss the gist of these lines. Miranda says that her memory is hazy and more like a dream than a recollection. She asked her father if he used to have 4 or 5 women taking care of her. Prospero gets a little excited and says that she had and more than that number. She gets surprised and asks Miranda how it was possible that she still remembered that through all the darkness of the past. He asks if she remembered her life before she came here. She may also remember how she got there. Miranda replies that she doesn't remember. Prospero says to Miranda that 12 years ago, her father was the Duke of Milan, a powerful prince. Miranda asks Prospero if he wasn't her father. Prospero tells her that her mother was extremely virtuous, and she said Miranda was his daughter, and her father was Duke of Milan, and Miranda were his heir, that is a princess. Now for your homework, plan extract 1 and 2 with pencil on workbook.